The Dorian TV Awards, known for its fun, fierce, and unapologetic energy, just delivered what might be the most humiliating moment in Harry's post-royal Hollywood saga. No royal red carpet, no bows, no titles, and absolutely no His Royal Highness. Instead, just Harry. Just Harry. Now if that sounds familiar, that's because it is. Back in 2020, Harry stood in front of the world and told us to just call me Harry. He left the royal family. He left the duties. He left the whole institution behind, or so we thought. Fast forward to today, and the man who once walked away from Buckingham Palace with a suitcase full of freedom is now walking into Hollywood events with a very different attitude. Because apparently, when Harry RSVP'd for the Dorian TV Awards, he had one special request: to be introduced as His Royal Highness Prince Harry. Now hold up, that's a bold ask coming from someone who literally gave up that exact title as part of his exit deal with the crown. The HRH status was removed when he and Meghan stepped down as working royals. It wasn't optional, it was official. You can't step away from royal duty and still expect people to treat you like you're the king's right hand. But Harry, he tried it. And the Dorian Awards weren't having any of it. Organizers politely declined. They said they'd introduce him as Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, but the His Royal Highness part? Absolutely not. And so the stage was set. The venue was buzzing. The stars were sparkling. And Harry, dressed in a sleek tuxedo, took his seat in the second row. Meghan? Nowhere to be seen. That alone raised eyebrows. I mean, she goes everywhere with him. Why not now? But more on that in a minute. The lights dim, the host steps forward, and the moment arrives. Please welcome Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. That's it. No HH, no royal trumpet, just the title he was permitted to use. And what did Harry do? Did he smile graciously? Walk up confidently? Say a few kind words? Nope, he stood up and walked out. Just like that. He didn't wave. He didn't speak. He didn't even fake a smile. He left, mid-ceremony, in front of dozens of cameras and hundreds of people. And let me tell you, the gasps in that room? Audible. You could feel the tension. It was the royal version of a mic drop, except it wasn't bold. It was bitter. And the audience? They didn't exactly leap to defend him, because in that moment, Hollywood didn't see a prince. They saw a man who asked to be treated like just Harry, and then got mad when he actually was. And that's when the real party started, online. Twitter exploded. TikTok had a field day. Instagram memes were coming faster than you could double tap. One post said, "Breaking. Prince Harry reminded he's just Mr. Mountbatten Windsor now." Another joked, "You wanted to be just Harry. Well, congratulations. You're now officially irrelevant." Ouch. But wait, it gets better. Hashtags started trending. Hashtag has been Harry. Hashtag Tantrum King. Hashtag Prince of Entitlement. You name it, the internet delivered it. One commenter went viral with, "He's acting like someone stole his crown when he literally threw it in the trash 5 years ago." Another wrote, "Welcome to America, pal. We fought a whole war so we wouldn't have to bow to anyone." And perhaps the harshest? You quit the job, gave up the benefits, and now you're mad no one's curtsying? Cry harder. And where was Meghan during all this? That's the million-dollar question. Some say she had a conflict. Some say she wasn't invited. But others are reading between the lines. Meghan knows PR. She knows optics. And this was a PR dumpster fire. Kind of awkward, messy, headline-generating moment that she usually avoids like the plague. There are whispers, quiet ones, but they're growing, that she saw this coming and decided to sit it out. Let Harry sink or swim. One Hollywood insider even said, Meghan warned him. She told him to go low-key. But Harry wouldn't let it go. He wanted the crown, even for one night. And when she realized he wouldn't budge, she stayed home. Let him have his moment. And he did, just not the one he was hoping for. And let's not pretend this is an isolated incident. This is just the latest in a growing list of Harry and Meghan PR fumbles. First, the Spotify deal evaporated. Then the Netflix projects underperformed. Public sympathy has dried up. And now, even progressive Hollywood, the very world they were banking on, is turning its back. It's not that people hate Harry, it's that they're tired of the contradiction, the mixed messages, the I want out but also give me my title mentality. In Hollywood, respect isn't inherited, it's earned. You don't walk in and get applause because your grandmother wore a crown. You walk in and get applause if you've done something impressive lately. And Harry? He hasn't. That's the core issue here. He wants the perks of royalty without the responsibility. He wants the spotlight but not the duty. And that doesn't fly in a place where everyone is grinding for recognition. The Dorian Awards crowd? They weren't being rude. They were being honest. Fair. They gave him the correct title. They followed the rules. And when he didn't like it, he walked out. Which brings us to the palace. You can bet King Charles and the firm are watching this unfold with a quiet sigh of relief. One royal aide reportedly whispered, "Imagine if he was still representing us. This would have been catastrophic." And you know what? They're not wrong. 'Cause Harry didn't just embarrass himself. He reminded the world why the crown made the right call when they accepted his exit. This was supposed to be the new chapter, post-royal rebirth. But instead, Harry's becoming a cautionary tale. A man who ran from structure and stability to chase freedom, only to find that without duty, the crown is just a costume. The Dorian Awards didn't humiliate Harry. They honored his decision. He asked to be just Harry, and they obliged. But the truth is, he didn't want that. Not really. He wanted the applause without the obligation. He wanted the reverence without the role. And when the world finally gave him what he asked for, anonymity, normalcy, equal footing, he walked away. Again. And now, he's spiraling into meme status. Let's be honest, when your name is trending not because of a charity success or a project, but because people are mocking your inability to read the room, you're not in control of your narrative anymore. You've become the punchline. One social media user even wrote, "He's officially entered South Park joke territory permanently." And it's hard to argue. There was a time when the public sympathized, when Harry's grievances seemed raw, relatable, and honest. But today, he's not the wounded soldier finding his way. He's the guy throwing a fit at a Hollywood award show because someone didn't fluff his ego. You know who else does that? Washed-up actors. Not ex-royals who claimed they wanted privacy. What's worse is the disconnect. This isn't Britain. Americans don't do royalty. Titles mean nothing here. We don't care if you're a duke or a dishwasher. It's what you do that counts. Oprah built her empire. Beyoncé earned her crown. Meanwhile, Harry shows up and expects everyone to bow like it's Windsor Palace. Bad move. And let's not forget the glaring contrast with Prince William. While Harry's walking out of ceremonies, William is walking into hospitals, shaking hands with first responders, showing up at events without a fuss, and, here's the kicker, not demanding anyone call him His Royal Highness. Because he doesn't have to. People respect him for what he does, not what he demands. If Harry had just stood up, smiled, accepted the intro gracefully, maybe even made a self-aware joke like, "I used to be H or H, now I'm just H," people would have loved it. He would have owned the moment. But instead, he let pride get in the way. And pride? That's the fast lane to irrelevance in this town. There's a saying in Hollywood, "You're only as good as your last gig." And right now, Harry's last gig was a walkout. Not exactly legacy material. So what comes next? Damage control? A new documentary explaining how the title snub triggered past trauma? Maybe a book? Spare 2, The Duke of Disrespect? Whatever it is, it'll need to be good, because public patience is running out. If Harry truly wants to be respected, he needs to remember why people cared in the first place. He was the rogue royal, the relatable one, the guy who said enough to an outdated system. But the moment he started trying to rebuild that system around himself in California, the illusion cracked. You can't throw stones at the palace and then cry when the castle doors don't open for you. And you certainly can't storm out of a room because someone didn't call you, sir. At the end of the day, Prince Harry's biggest problem isn't the media or the monarchy or even the Dorian Awards. His problem is Harry. So if you agree that the royal treatment ended the moment he walked out of the palace, hit that like button. Drop a who? Harry who in the comments and tell me, has the curtain officially closed on Harry's Hollywood dream? Or is there still a chance for a royal redemption? But here's the real kicker. As this circus unfolds, we're watching something even deeper unravel, Harry's brand. Think about it. When he and Meghan broke away from the crown, they had the world's attention, sympathy even. They were seen as the brave ones, the outsiders daring to speak out, take risks, challenge a centuries-old institution. Netflix snapped them up. Spotify cut them a massive check. Oprah gave them the platform of a lifetime. It was a Cinderella story, royal edition. But fast forward just a couple years later, and what are we left with? An empty podcast, a Netflix deal that's reportedly on thin ice, failed ventures, public fatigue, and now a very public walkout at an awards show because someone didn't say the magic words. That's not how you build an empire. That's how you torch it. Let's be honest. Harry thought he'd be the star. He thought America would embrace him as the rebel prince, the new age leader, the woke royal with a California tan. And for a brief moment they did. But the truth is, America already has its icons. What they don't have much patience for is entitlement wrapped in victimhood. The second you start acting like your past entitles you to unearned deference, especially in a country built on rejecting monarchies, you lose people fast. Meanwhile, other royals who left the institution have managed to live quiet, impactful lives. Take Princess Diana's brother, Charles Spencer. Low-key, dignified, till respected. Or even Fergie, yes, Sarah Ferguson, who after all her scandals somehow managed to rebuild her reputation. Not through titles, not through drama, but through honest work, children's books, public charity, and staying out of trouble. Harry, though, every time the dust settles, he picks up a microphone or steps into a spotlight and makes it about himself again. And the audience, well, they've noticed. One TikTok commentator said, "He's like that guy who keeps quitting his job, then shows up asking if his name's still on the office door." That one had over 500,000 likes. And let's talk Meghan again for a moment, because while Harry's out here tripping over titles, Meghan has quietly pivoted. New ventures, new projects, new branding, and all of it completely distanced from royalty. She's stopped calling herself the Duchess of Sussex. Her team refers to her as Meghan Markle now, no frills. Why? Because she's learning, she's adapting. She knows the American public wants stories of reinvention, not recycled aristocracy. Which begs the question, is there a divide forming between the two of them? Is Meghan slowly stepping back from the royal identity while Harry clings to it like a security blanket? That might explain why she didn't show up. Why she let him have this moment, alone. Because maybe she knew it wouldn't be a moment of glory, but one of exposure. Maybe she was done being dragged into his delusions of grandeur. Because here's the harsh truth, and no one wants to say it. Harry may have married up in terms of ambition, but he's lagging behind in reality. Meghan, for all her faults, knows how to survive in Hollywood. Harry still thinks his lineage is his ticket. But in this town, if you can't deliver, they don't care what castle you came from. And you better believe the industry is watching. Executives are talking, agents are whispering, studios are hesitating. Because they all saw what happened at the Dorian Awards. They saw the walkout, they read the room. And the last thing Hollywood wants is to attach itself to a liability, especially one who demands royal treatment but doesn't bring in royal results. What's next for Harry? Let's speculate. Scenario 1, he doubles down, issues a passive-aggressive statement through his reps, talks about protocol misunderstandings or how the incident triggered past trauma from his childhood. Maybe another documentary. Maybe another Oprah sit-down. Dorian, the Untold Hurt. Scenario 2, radio silence. His team goes dark. No interviews. No appearances. Just long walks in Montecito with a podcast mic dangling in his hand like a sad prop. Eventually, he rebrands again. From prince to philanthropist to podcaster to who knows. Scenario 3, and the one that could actually work, is redemption. He stops trying to be royal, stops demanding status, starts showing up, quietly, humbly, in schools and communities on causes that don't make headlines but change lives. He listens, learns, does the work. Slowly, people come around. They remember the soldier, the advocate, the man, not the monarchy. But let's be honest, that takes humility, discipline. And based on his latest tantrum, those aren't exactly the qualities shining through right now. And then there's the broader impact. What message does this send to the monarchy? To King Charles? To William? Confirms what they've probably known all along. Harry's not ready. Not for leadership. Not for independence. Not for the kind of respect you earn through consistency and sacrifice. They gave him a chance to forge his own path, and he turned it into a tabloid trail of missteps and meltdowns. You think William's losing sleep over this? No way. If anything, he's probably thinking, "There, but for the grace of Granny go I." Because while Harry's name is trending for the wrong reasons, William is showing up, staying steady, building his future throne not on drama, but on duty. And the public? They're not stupid. They've seen this all before. The arc of entitlement is always the same. Admire, empathize, question, criticize, mock, reject. Harry's dangerously close to the final step. Because people don't care that he left the royal family. They care that he keeps trying to use it when it benefits him and bash it when it doesn't. That's not rebellion. That's opportunism. And when the applause stops, when the invitations dry up, when the calls from Netflix go unanswered, he'll realize that titles don't matter, legacy does. And legacy isn't built in interviews, it's built in silence, in service, in showing up even when nobody claps. So let this be a lesson. To Harry, to anyone watching, you can't walk away from the throne and expect to take the crown with you. You can't demand respect you haven't earned. And you sure as hell can't walk out of an awards show and expect anyone to follow you. Because when the lights fade, when the cameras cut, and you're left standing alone at the back of the room, someone's always going to ask, who? Harry who? And this time, there might not be an answer. If you've made it this far, drop a Harry who in the comments. Let's light it up. Like, share, and subscribe for more high-drama royal commentary you won't get anywhere else. You know what to do. Because in the world of crowns and cameras, the drama never ends. And neither do we.